What if one platform covered everything from idea to market-ready product? A platform teaching all the AI tech and practices needed for successful AI-driven startups.
This is like AI imagination.
We found that the more specific we are.
We used a classifier, we trained a classifier.
I really wanted it to just be more open-ended for the user.
We were experimenting with different chunk sizes,
having some problems to something.
By blending cutting-edge technologies from industry giants, you can create revolutionary AI products that drive innovation forward.
This was a special hack, it was a battle.
Let the hacking begin.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of What's Next, where we interview teams who already created their amazing ideas and found themselves in the LabLab Next Accelerator program. You can call me Jay, and today with Nate, we're going to be your hosts.
Hey guys.
Hi, Nate. And today with us, we have two teams. First, an incredible team from Poland, HyperNode, with their project MindGraph. The winners of the latest Build Your Own AI Startup Hackathon. They are here to tell us more who they are, what are their experiences with the hackathon, and what's most important, what's next. Another team who joined the LabLab Next Accelerator program is ShiftLeft, and their product that revolutionizes software testing by leveraging AI to automate and expedite test case generation. They heard about Accelerator, applied, and got in. We'll start with the short introduction to LabLab Next, and there's no better person to do that than Nate. So Nate, stage is yours.
Thank you, Jay. I hope everyone who's watching are having a good time. So welcome to What's Next. And I'm just going to run you through a little bit what is next after the hackathons that we host. And it is our digital accelerator program that we call LabLab Next. And it is the natural next step for all the winners or projects with great, future projections. So what is LabLab Next? Like I said, it's a digital accelerator program. It runs for 6 weeks, and we aim to take your prototype to MVP or MVP to above and beyond. The program is a no equity program. So why should you join LabLab Next if you are a startup? Well, number one is that we offer a customized guidance and resources for a startup in support. We also have our huge LabLab community that is not just 100K plus community, it's now 160 plus K community that you will have some extra access to kind of gain resources from there. We also have 40 plus mentors who are both on the business side and also on the technical aspect, and will help you with everything from deep technical issues to like forming your go-to-market strategy or anything that you actually need help with. Then we also offer a lot of perks and deals from our partners that we have. Kind of helps you boost the initial phase as a startup, which can be quite hard financially. So we try to help out as much as possible there. And who should apply? So we have some criteria. Number one is that just like with LabLab.ai, your product needs to be based on generative AI. Your startup should be between prototype or MVP stage. And something that we put a lot of weight to is the team. Because if you want to succeed as a startup, you need a strong team with different skill sets. And what we say is that you need at least 2 members, but ideally 5 to have a diverse enough team and also enough resources to do everything you need to do in a startup. And here you have some of the partners that we have. We got even more. And some alumni that we have is a team that you might recognize, which is Agile Loop. And they went through the program about a year ago now when we were running a beta test of the program. And they later went on to our later stage accelerator, Gaia, and they have managed to raise 500K pre-seed, and they also signed a $3 million LOI. And then we also have Neil Locus, who's doing a great app where they help you to kind of get inspired to your interior at home. And they also signed a 100K USD contract, and they managed to get on the 6th place on Product Hunt. And for those who are interested, we are starting the program today, actually, with the 2 teams we have here as 2 teams from our cohort. But if you are thinking about applying, applications are open on a rolling basis, and the next cohort starts in October. And you can find the application form if you go to lablab.ai/next, and there will be a big call to action there to apply. And that's it for me. Thank you, Jay.
All right. Okay, so I guess that it's time to welcome our first team of today's show, Team HyperNode. Hi, guys. It's awesome to see you here again. Can you maybe introduce yourself and tell something more about your project?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Wojtek. I'm one of the ML guys here. With me there is Robert, Kuba, and Bartek. We are both all of us are technical people, just from little different sides of the software development and the AI. And our project is HyperNode. So we are making one solution for construction industry to store all their documents on, and also be able to interact with those documents in a smart way. So retrieval and AI chatbots and all of the magical stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that my first question would be, how is it to win hackathon? I mean, I guess that I should ask you, how many hackathons did you win? Because you told me on the backstage that it's not your first one, first with that project, but yeah, how does it feel? Because many people, trying to do that, and you achieved it.
For me personally, I was counting the hackathons lately, and I stopped at 31. So this was my 31st hackathon, and like the 5th one that I have won. So, there is much more tries than there is wins, of course, but every win is also a very well respected and makes us very happy.
So the main advice is try until you make it. Actually, sometimes you'll be angry at the result, at the judges, at yourself, but one day you will do it.
And you always work as a team, or did you took part as in this setup for our hackathon?
We have worked as a team a lot of times. Sometimes there are some, little bit of changes because someone can't be on a specific hackathon, or there is a different limit for the team size or things like that. But we are often working in this configuration, let's say.
And does it mean that this hackathon is a little bit different because you start transforming into the startup? Does it work like that this time?
Yeah, you could say that. Most of the hackathons weren't really focused on creating startups, more on like a technological, just some technological competitions, let's say. And yeah, we are now during the transitioning, let's say, into this startup way of doing things.
And I have a question wrote here that basically many people are waiting for some sort of like a chance or opportunity in life to get that push into their careers. And I wanted to ask, do you feel that this hackathon and participating in LabLab Next Accelerator is potentially that chance for you in your careers?
Yes, if I may speak for myself, I think there is a very good chance, a very good opportunity, and as most opportunities that we encounter, we try to have like the most of it. So we are very eager to try this one right now.
Okay, so so how you imagine your next steps? Do you already have some like expectations towards the LabLab Next Accelerator?
So for me personally, and I think also as a team, our like the first priority is to learn a lot and to build our team even more towards this startup way of doing things, let's say. And also if we manage, then also build a product and try to sell it and get clients, etc. I
Yeah,
don't know
most
if
people are.
that's something, guys. Maybe.
Do you want us to add something?
Yeah, so we participated many times in hackathons in the past, like Wojtek said, sometimes slightly changing teams, but we really enjoy working together, and we like to do some innovative stuff and do it through the technology and AI that is our domain. And we are excited that this is a great opportunity to evolve it into a real business and make it a startup, because it's cool when you can push your idea further and make it something that people actually want, rather than only judges and some people during the presentation. So that's what we are really excited about. And like Wojtek said, I think that the learning part for us is really nice, and we're really looking forward to it in the accelerator and exchanging knowledge with other participants.
Awesome. I mean, like you already have a pretty big learning experience before, right? Like 31 hackathons, at least Wojtek. It's a pretty impressive number, I must say. Okay. I actually have a question as well, because you mentioned that you knew before the hackathon, and I'm wondering if do you think is it make it easier to know each other before taking part in experience like that?
I mean, in general, yes, but at the same time, I have participated many times in hackathons with people that I actually don't know and didn't know before. So, and we also managed to win or have a good time. So, I would say usually for me, it's not a difference, because when someone goes to a hackathon or studies the same course or is from the same university research group or something like that, they are also ambitious and they are eager to push to their goal and are here also to learn and have fun, which is nice that you can meet like-minded people, even when you, well, let's say, go with randoms.
This is super valuable
I would
insights,
say
because
that
many people
fun.
don't have that comparison.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
sorry.
I
Yeah,
want to
go
say
ahead.
that the fun fact is that the first hackathon that I was cooperating with, Kuba and Robert was the one that we won. So yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, the
That's
obstacle
actually amazing.
to work with some randoms, let's say. Yeah.
And how you would compare those experiences? Like,
How would they compare? I didn't hear.
yeah,
Sorry.
how you would compare those experiences working with the new group and working with the group that you already know?
I would say that it depends on the people with who are you cooperating in that moment, because sometimes you feel that chemistry, let's say, from the beginning, and yeah, it just have to work like that. So it's nice to work with some new people to acknowledge some other guys and so on, to make your network bigger and see some other perspectives and so on. Because if you're working always with the same group, it's like it's beginning to be closed, like you know, to your perspective only, or our perspective only. So it can be valuable. Yeah. So it's nice sometimes to go and reach out to someone else.
Okay, so what advices can you give to other participants of the hackathons? Because you have such a huge experience that I bet that each of you has some nice advice.
I would say just
From
go
my
for it.
side,
When you like, because you can start going to hackathons even if you are like student on the first year, first semester, and maybe you won't win the first one, but the hackathons are a great opportunity to learn something, and this really putting you in a different place than university or your daily work. So I think things will come together sooner or later, and the most important thing is to try.
yes,
Guys,
don't feel the discouragement because of losing. My advice would be to just like treat it as a learning experience. You get a week, you're able to done something. Maybe it seems hard, maybe it seems like impossible to do it during the weekend, but go for it. Try to learn a lot of how much you can learn this weekend. And maybe you also win, maybe you also create a solution, something new, something outside the box.
Yep, so it all boils down to trying a lot. And maybe one more slightly less profound advice is to also learn how to pitch, because it's often people don't really focus on that if they are from technical background, and it's really important also as a skill. Even if you don't go for your own startup, even if you just work for a company, good presentation skills are very valuable.
That's super interesting what you're saying, because I see that many people are hesitant to take part in the hackathons because they don't know how to code or they don't know much about AI, but they would love to try, and they have other skills like presentation skills, or they can do some graphics. So, like, can you say something to those people who like are still a little bit afraid to join the developers team?
They're crucial, I would say, because almost no one who is technical guy don't want to do this, and it ends up with a total mess when there is like an hour left and you have to make a presentation and no one is capable of doing this in a good manner, and so on. So yeah, it's valuable, and I'm sure that a lot of people would love to have that one guy who loves to make those presentations and to pitch them also.
That's the deal. We don't know how to do UX. We are pretty good engineers, but we don't know how to do the presentations parts, the like nice images. If you could see just some of our presentation done in a row for some like expert getting them and improving, yeah, they were better. They were really bad. And as an expert, I mean our girlfriend or someone else.
And I would add also that the one tip to always host the app when it's required during the hackathons, because sometimes judges can just throw away those solutions which are not hosted because they have no time to look at the code and everything behind the scenes. So it's quite important.
Awesome. I think these are some super valuable advices. Nate, do you have any other questions to the guys?
Yeah, well, I have one question for you before we move on to ShiftLeft.ai. So you were talking about that you never really aimed to create a startup until this Build Your AI hackathon came. Was it that you didn't think about having a startup at all before? Or was this hackathon like, oh, we can actually also make a startup out of it?
Well, we thought about making a startup, and we are actively thinking about it, but we were in the phase of what to do. And hackathons are cool because you are like forced to come up with something in some area, so they're like focusing on some sub problem, and it makes sometimes easier to work on it. And also we had a similar idea, like similar problem before, and we were thinking about making a startup. So the hackathon was nice because it was in a more or less same domain, and we were able to like make an initial test of this idea.
All right. And why did you end up with this product for this hackathon?
Well, we are.
It was just a brainstorming before the hackathon. Jan said that last time we had like 3 hours of brainstorming. Said about some problem that he had. I mean, like his colleague told him about this problem. He told this to us. We were like, okay, we know the stuff. Maybe we could do that and that and that and like solve it this way. After this 3 hour brainstorming, actually went for it.
So to me, it sounds like you kind of got information about a problem and just try to make a solution out of it. Is that right?
Yeah, we just wanted to tackle that. Like we heard that it's a big industry because this colleague father was from this industry. And it was a common problem. Like heard about that, we think why not? It's actually a good idea. Let's try to tackle that. And we know how to deal with unstructured data, the problems with data, and like how to deal with LLMs using that data. So that's why we came up with MindGraph.
All right. Yeah, I think that is a common problem to actually find a big enough problem that you can build a company around. Uh, especially talking to a lot of tech people, like they can build anything, but they don't know what to build. So always great to actually find proper problems out in a society. Right. So also have Furkan, sorry, with the Shift Left AI. I don't know what happened right now. Welcome to the stage. Do you want to say hi and maybe explain a little bit about what you do?
Hi, so my name is Furkan. Thank you for having me. So we are basically building a software testing platform that accelerates your software delivery, because what happens is with latest stage startups and scale ups, they have multiple releases down the road. So they have multiple releases within months, within a year. They have 10 to 12 releases, and for them to release on time is the most important aspect. And because of the high number of test cases, software testing usually becomes a bottleneck in product delivery. So what we are doing is basically integrating Gen AI and computer vision technology to accelerate your software testing, so you can save up to 50% of your time for software testing, and also decrease your cost in terms of software testing and maintenance, but also increase the coverage of or your test cases by 2x by using our platform. So this is what we are building. And again, this is a personal problem that we personally faced while building our previous startup. So that's why we are passionate about building this product.
Cool. And you guys are located in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we are originally from Pakistan, but recently we became part of the Endless Residency program, where me and my other co-founders were part of that program. And through that program, we were able to join forces and we became co-founders for this program. So it was a day zero program. Now we are in a day one program where we're now taking up POC to the MVP stage.
Yeah, and you're talking about your co-founders. So the team, are you only two people, or do you have a bigger team as well?
So we have basically we are three full-time founders and one part-time founder. So the part-time founder is a founder whom we have added through Enter Residency program. So his work will start once we have something built out. So he's a B2B SaaS guy. He has built his previous startups, SaaS startups, and sold them to bigger companies. So he's the salesperson in our team. I basically come from a liberal arts background, unlike my other two co-founders who are purely technical. So I initially did my education in computer sciences, but had the opportunity to pursue my minor in music. So I also play violin apart from my startup. And during my final year, I had the opportunity to go to Stanford University and complete my data science specialization from there, after which I basically started my career towards data science and AI. And the other two co-founders, so one of them is my batchmate. He was also a computer scientist, but the third person who's basically the architect of this product has more than 2 decades of experience in software testing and you could say DevOps. So his last gig was he was director technology and DevOps at Kareem, which was later sold out to Uber at $3.1 billion valuation, which was one of the biggest exits of the region, Middle East region.
Cool. And this team, like I said before, we're putting a lot of weight into the team in the next program. How did you form your team?
So me and my other batchmate founder, we basically built a previous startup with the name of YPay Financial Services. That was a wealth management startup for the pan-Islamic world. We started that startup 4 years ago in late 2021. We got some initial funding from Village Global and Singapore-based VC Iterative Capital. We raised that startup for 3 years, scaled to more than 30,000 consumers. And then later on, we got some kind of a strategic acquisition last year only. And while we were building that startup, we had a tech consultant who was basically a third co-founder. So he was helping us with the software testing part and the DevOps part. And later on, when we started exploring for our next gig, we discussed this opportunity with him since he had the technical expertise and the domain expertise, and we were the ones who personally faced that particular problem. So all three of us joined forces and basically applied to Antler with this idea to work on.
All right. So it seems like you have a lot of experience when it comes to the startup world. How much would you say, and also in what sense, is that helping you now with this startup?
So I think from the fundraising perspective, from go-to-market strategy, I think these are some things that we have already done while building our previous startup. But this time we are basically building a dev tool kind of a product, which is a core technology product. And for that kind of product, we need communities like lablab and champions like my colleagues sitting in this call, in this seminar. So I think we need a lot of feedback, a lot of technical guidance and supervision to build such products, because it involves feedback from the consumer side, but also from experts who have built similar technologies. So again, we are comfortable from the other side, but not from the technology point of view, although we have two core tech people on our team as well.
Yeah. And I was thinking, is there any pit holes or big issues that you went through in your previous projects that you now can avoid and potentially tell to, for example, MindGraph here, look out for?
So previously the product that we built was consumer focused, and that was the time when the VC game was completely different. They were more focused towards the growth, and to get your growth on the consumer side is far significantly easier compared to on the B2B side. But the dynamics changed in late 2022, or you could say early 2023, when the focus shifted towards getting recurring revenue instead of having consumer growth. So that was the first lesson, and that is the reason this time we are building for businesses, because to scale revenue and to be break even from day one or in the next 6 months, I think you need to start with the B2B product. I think consumers can be someone who can use our product later on, but our focus right now is businesses, ideally late stage startups and scale ups who are scaling their technology fast and need to test their product on a, you could say, weekly basis or a monthly basis.
Right. And you were mentioning that you were part of Antler. Why did you decide to also join LabLab Next?
So as I mentioned, Antler was a day zero residency program. It was not an accelerator program. So in Antler residency program, they basically call individual founders. So the first 6 weeks is basically finding out your co-founder, working and brainstorming on your ideas. In the last 2 to 3 weeks, so it's an 8 to 10 weeks program, and the last part is basically drilling down on your ideas. So we were basically more focused on team formation, how the co-founders complement each other, how what is the market, what is going to be our go-to-market strategy with related to particular idea, and validating the idea with some potential initial users. So that was day zero accelerator. Right now, the idea is to take a POC stage product to an MVP stage where we could go and do public betas with other startups and with other consumers. So it's more of a day one accelerator, and Endler was day zero accelerator for us. So that was the rationale in joining in this accelerator.
Okay, and at the moment, what would you say are your like top two biggest problems at the moment? That is like, I don't know how we're gonna overcome this, but we are going to overcome it, but I don't know how just yet.
So I think one of my biggest concern, and I think it's common to other AI startups as well. I think what we are doing is basically again leveraging Gen AI and computer vision and building something which is an important use case for late stage startups and scale-ups. But with giants like OpenAI, Google, and other big giants, so one of the major concerns that we are always worried about is that what if on the next day they come up with a similar functionality within their ecosystem that could destroy the market, or that could capitalize the market, and that could monopolize the market with similar use cases at a much you could say lesser price and with more complexity complexity of the problems. So again, with AI solutions, I think one thing which should concern all the founders is how to create your niche and USP within the market, within the segment. So ideally, it should be something catering to a very small segment of audience, and it should cater only a very, you could say, very selective use cases instead of general use cases, because sooner or later these big giants will come into these spaces and will destroy and capitalize the market very soon. So this is one of the you could say concerns for us as founders for tools that are leveraging Gen AI and modern you could say AI technologies.
Thank you for that. I'm out of questions. I could come up with them, but I want to leave the floor for Jay if you have any questions. Or
I did, but you covered everything. So yeah, I'm out of questions. Unless the one, because you ask why they decide to join lablab next. But I'm also curious, how did you find it? How did you find the accelerator? You've been looking for it actively, or?
No, so it was a referral. So one of your board members, I think, we were talking to people when we graduated from our Antler cohort, and we were talking to either experts or investors. So one of them recommended this program, That's how we got to know about this program and applied to this program. Yeah. It was a referral. Yeah.
All right, cool. Now you're here. Welcome. And Nate,
Thank you.
if you still have any questions, then go ahead because yeah, nothing on my
I was
side.
going to check MindGraph. Do you have a question to ShiftLeft maybe?
Well, I think you have a very interesting project, and I sure would like to talk about it in a more like what's in the technical side and what's in the other aspects of this project. But I guess that's a longer conversation for.
Yeah.
Or on the back.
So I think yeah, I have a couple of questions to you guys. I think you guys can answer those questions if you may. So again, as you mentioned, these are your first startups. So how is like how are you coping up with the stress and the pressure that comes with building your first venture? So you guys mentioned how you guys started with Hackathon and then later pivoted towards building a venture out of it. So how are you coping up with because the first you could say pillars of support are the co-founders for yourself. So how are you guys coping up with the pressure and how much are you guys excited to build this venture?
Right now, it's cool, I would say. We have great co-founders, and we actually have a lot of fun so far, and we are still having fun. So it's not that stressful at that moment for us. So yeah, right now it's not really difficult, at least for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
They didn't start the startup yet, so give them a little bit of time. Stress will come.
I
You
was going to
probably know
say
a
they
lot
just
of
won the hackathon.
yeah.
And it's the first day of the program. But maybe you can tell them a little bit about how it is to run a startup when you actually get going.
Should give us tips.
Yeah.
When the things start getting serious.
I think things will get tough, and I think the co-founder should be the one whom you should be comfortable in having any type of conversation. Because me, with my previous co-founder, so we had times in my previous startup that we had to close down because we had either shortage of funds or the liquidity wasn't there. We had to do vendor payment. So these are the hassles that you get across on a daily basis once you get into the startup journey, because it is very difficult. And when we started our startup, that was a very different time in 2021. Everybody was giving money to startups. But fast forward, late 2022, things were completely different. No investor was giving money until unless you were break even. You had either you were a serial entrepreneur or you had good connections. That was the only way you could ask for money from investors, and you need a lot of warm contacts. So I think I would suggest to spend your time in doing LinkedIn DMs to experts and angel investors whom you think might be useful 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, because you never know whenever you need to engage a lot of investors or a lot of experts at the same time. So it usually takes time. Initially, we thought that it would be a 3 week or 2 week exercise, but right now we realize that we had to build a relationship either with the experts or the investors 6 months, 12 months down the road. So we are already at that process. We knew a lot of investors through our previous startup. We know a lot of good connections in the Middle East, but we were still trying to keep the context warm, and we know whenever we are close to demo day or whenever we go beyond after graduating this lab cohort, we will engage them at the same time. So I would encourage, if you guys are not feeling the pressure, start feeling that pressure and start to divide your responsibilities. One person should spend a good amount of time in reaching out relevant investors and connections on LinkedIn. It always starts with the cold connection, but it would take time, ideally 6 months to 12 months to warm that contact. So these are the basic tips that one should have if they want to build a venture-backed business. Other than that, if you guys believe in the product and you believe that you will be able to run it without venture backing, then it's a different story. But most of the startups require, especially at the early stages, some sort of venture backing. And for that, you need to really work hard because money is not cheap right now. It's very difficult to get, especially in terms of fundraising. So one of your team members needs to dedicate full time on fundraising. So that is the most difficult part right now for startup building.
Yeah, and I think that's really something you should try to leverage within the next program with all the different mentors we have, and shoot them a message, say hi, just a little intro on what you're doing, and kind of just at least be on their radar. You don't have to be the center of the radar, but you want to exist there.
Yeah,
All
yeah, I
right.
think I would agree with that.
Yeah, we really have great mentors for this cohort, so try to leverage it both in open channels and in private message, and some of them are even available for private one-on-ones with you. So don't be afraid to use those resources. You will leverage them a lot if you do.
Thanks, great for the good insight.
Nate, just a question for you guys. Like, why did you guys were passionate to run this lablab code? So you mentioned what lablab is in the earlier part of our call, but would love to know why you guys are joining forces with this accelerator. What did you guys see when you starting out and when you were joining this initiative?
Well, from one side, lablab is mostly about generative AI, which we mostly also specialize in, and that's, we believe, is the place when you can make like the coolest products, let's say. And then there was this, specifically this like startup hackathon, which was ideal because we were thinking about making a startup for some time. I remember meeting in like winter and discussing many different ideas, and we tried some, and yeah, there were some projects, and then we pivoted here into this new project, into this new hackathon, where every star aligned, the Gen AI and the technologies and the product we believe in, and everything.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, got to the right place. All right. So I think we can kind of sum it up there. I have to say on behalf of me and the next team that we are super happy to have both of you in the cohort. And like you mentioned here before, you should continue the discussion in the A1 platform and kind of help each other out and show each other the technical aspects. And even though you're doing different stuff, you can probably learn from each other still. So keep it up. Sorry. Thank you,
I'm
guys.
sorry, on my behalf, I would like to say that it's always my favorite part to meet people behind the project. It's honestly amazing to see how people are clever and what people are doing with their skills. No, it's super, super impressive. And Farkan, it was super nice to meet you today. I saw guys on the last winner stream. I saw them winning the hackathon. So it's also super special for me to have you guys here. I'm rooting for you guys so, so much. So yeah, grab that chance, grab that opportunity with LabLab Next. And I hope that you're going to have an amazing startup. The route probably is not going to be easy like it is with startups, but I have a feeling that you have everything what you need to do that. Just stay friends during during creating a company.
We will. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. And Jay, when do we have the next What's Next?
I'm actually in around 2 weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you guys will see other teams from the next program and get even more insights on how the startup journey looks for startups. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for today, guys. It's a wrap.